Hey, how's it going? Thank you for joining Shop Talk Live. My name is Rick Ramirez, also known as Ricks2Cents, along with my fellow co-host Skyler from Woodworking.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, hello. Yeah,
So
so
good to be back. Missed you guys.
before we went live, I was saying it's crazy because anytime you've been on the live, I haven't been. It kind of been my rock when I can't make the live. I wanted to say something that I saw you do that I haven't seen very many people do is when you did the inlay on that a woodwork piece. So
Hmm.
many times that I've seen them after they did the inlay and they press that in, that they throw that onto a bandsaw and they cut that off.
Yep.
And I saw you cut that flush with the CNC, and I was like,
Yeah, I did it both ways. I do it with the bandsaw or the CNC.
right. But the thing is that what's cool about seeing that is that we always say not everybody has the same tools, right? Like I don't
Yep.
own a bandsaw. So when I was thinking of those inlays, I was thinking I'm gonna have to buy a bandsaw. But
The bandsaw is faster, but if you have so much of the blade exposed that if it just bends a little bit, you might take a chunk out of the cutting board. So you have to go really slow and make sure your bandsaw is really tuned in and doesn't drift.
right.
But it's faster, so it does the job.
Yeah. Lauren says, hi to everyone. I'm the first how's everyone? First time here. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining.
Well,
Let us know where you're joining us from. It says, hello, Skyler. I apologize. I'm not able to read your name, but hello. So when we share the comments, it makes our names go away. So I'll show you what I mean when I unshare you. So that's why. So, Uber first said hello, all hello, hello. People are starting to drop in the live. Thank you for joining. Yeah, so you've been doing some crazy stuff on that CNC.
yeah,
I've seen
I've tried a whole bunch of stuff. My next thing to learn, which I've never tried yet, is to do the double-sided carving.
it. Okay.
But so far, I've been having a lot of fun with the inlays, and I really put in the time to get it dialed in and get it perfect. And
Okay.
let me tell you, it was like 2 weeks of full testing just to get those parameters perfect. I mean, I went through so many scraps of wood and testing and all kinds of bits, and until I found something that just worked for me.
Nice. And I saw you actually ended up upgrading to Aspire.
Yes. I did that because I did a tray. I don't know if you saw the tray with the wall, like 3D carved. And
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of ridges on the inside of the tray. And that's just part of when you buy an STL file, that's just the pixels.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way to fix it, I needed Aspire to use the modeling tools to actually get rid of that stuff. So
Yeah. So I right off the bat started with Aspire. Um, the only reason that I did it, to be honest with you, is because I don't have an endless well. No money was there, and I said we need to buy it
right.
because I may later on say that I want to go back to it, and I won't have it. So I had the money at the time, so I just spent it. But not necessarily that I needed those key features at the time. To be honest, the only thing I've used my CNC so far to do is the what is it called? It's the plastic that's like three
The
different color layers.
multicolor. Yep.
Yep.
Nice.
So yeah, I made signs with that, but this last month, man, I haven't month and a half, I haven't touched it at all. I've been so busy with stuff outside my house, doing yard work and things like that, and doing reviews on tools. So,
Nice. Today I made a flag, an American flag.
oh yeah,
Show it to you. I have it here in the press. And I put it aside because I can't decide if I want to make it into a wall art
nice.
or a cutting board. I have a little bit of mixed feelings because, I feel like cutting boards, it shouldn't be right to have a flag that you cut on it and chop on it. Like, the flag should be something that hangs up
Yeah,
high and, you're not chopping things on it. But then I did a lot of research on Etsy and see what's selling, and people buys a lot of flag cutting boards. They don't buy so much flags wall art. So I'm
right,
just holding. I'm like, because depends if I go which route, it's gonna have a different finish on it and different profile. So I'm just
right.
holding it. I'm like, I don't know which way to go.
You know what the thing too is you could post a poll. You've done that, and then you're actually kind of getting
Oh.
some potential customers. Even YouTube, the YouTube post has that poll thing. That might be cool. So, would you guys be interested in purchasing this as a flag, a wall art, or would you guys be interested in purchasing that? And who knows? You may just get that customer right there.
Right. I did end up doing the star inlays with the taper bowl nose, so they're like a 1/4 inch deep.
Okay.
That way they're good for either one of them. You know, like, you know,
Right.
if you do a wall art, you can do it with a V-bit and just have a, you know, whatever surface. But I made it, they could go either way. I just don't know which way I should go. So
Very
if
cool.
you have an opinion on that, write it in the comments.
There you go. Let her know. Let her know. Lauren said Mississippi. Yeah, it's a new one. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. Derek's Smiley Woodwork said, "Happy Wednesday, everyone. Skyler's doing great work with the CNC in her machines. Phenomenal."
Hi, Derek. Thank you. Derek just ordered a CNC too after I got mine, so I'm excited for him to get it. He should get it, I think, in the next week. Hopefully.
You know, I noticed yours is a little different too than mine, Skyler.
Well, you got the Masso controller, I got the red line, and I got the Generation 2, which is thicker rails, and it doesn't have a stiffet because it's thicker.
Yeah, and I noticed yours is a little different than mine. I saw on your CNC, it actually said 150 really big.
Mm-hmm.
Mine doesn't say that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I got there. I ended up getting their stand and their spindle and everything. So
I'm trying to like block this sun behind me, but then it like chops half my head off. It's like overexposing my camera when I don't. So sorry. So I'm not intentionally trying to chop my head off. Yeah, so my wood shop is absolutely nuts. We've been doing stuff for the outside of my house and building stuff. It's actually being used as a wood shop, not a YouTube studio. So it's not exactly maybe camera ready. But it got an opportunity for some people to kind of see some of the stuff in this room, and people were like, "Is that a green screen?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah, I would have loved to see from you some your build videos where you build like like your flower planters or memorials or whatever.
Yeah,
I think that would be cool if you make some videos on that.
What I really want to do is the flower planters. I want to do a side-by-side comparison on something you can do with the CNC versus something you can do with a laser, because we always talk about jigs, right? And once you create something, it's so easy to replicate something and have the exact same, nail down quality because you've done it time and time again. It's kind of how I feel comfortable with the laser, with those, because I do a lot of like those script type fonts. Right. But I want to be able to do the same exact thing with a CNC.
I think the CNC will do a better job of that.
Exactly.
Use a V-bit, use a 30-degree V-bit, you get so much detail.
Yeah, so I 100% agree, but it's just a dial-in thing, right? I got to dial that in. So, and then once I get it dialed in, then be able, I'm old school with the whole notebook, whatever, but be able to say like, okay, well, this takes 35 minutes on a CNC, 35 minutes on a laser, and maybe 7 minutes on a CNC, right? Because it's not much for a CNC. So I think that's going to be really the outcome. I think the upfront setup is going to be a little longer, but then I think a CNC is going to blow scripting out of the water from a laser.
Oh yeah, for sure. So much more detail.
Yeah,
and it don't get the black edges, so it's going to look nice.
You know what? I went back and forth with those black edges, and every time I asked someone if they want it or not, they all do, because it makes it pop. Matter of fact, they always want me to infill it with black paint. So I don't really care too much that it has a chard, because I'm actually going black over it as well.
Do you use like when I do like paint infill inlays and stuff, I use what is that paint? It's in a spray can, the graffiti paint.
Oh no, I hand paint it with a paintbrush.
Oh, you do? I use graffiti spray paint, and it dries in like a few seconds, and it's very thick, so it doesn't seep into the wood pores.
Oh, okay.
It just makes it so easy and really nice. Like one coat, that's all you need.
So to the exact point of what you're saying. So I have the exact opposite problem that it does, right? So I'll have to put a coat and then wait. And most times I'm maybe 5-6 coats in. So I really like the way it looks. It's really, really dark and even consistent, because I know that it's something that someone's going to leave outside 24/7, right? Probably 6 months out of the year, it's just going to be sitting outside, and you could tell them oil it, condition it. They're not going to, right?
Yep.
So I just want it to last as long as possible. But yeah. Let's see here. Don said, "My name is Don. I live in Grove City, Ohio. Skyler, thank you for showing us how to make your crosses. I made 70 so far." Yeah,
Well, you're very welcome. That cross video, actually, the one that bought me the CNC, I think it got to has 720,000 views so far.
Wow.
And I think it made me over $6,000. So I took that money because it was unaccounted for, and I bought the CNC with that. So thank you, you guys. You bought me a CNC.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I was really surprised that you shared that. That's very cool you did. But I was really surprised you did, because that's one of your signature pieces, right?
I know, but you know what? I made a few of them and I sold immediately. People were so intrigued, and I knew that video was going to do good, because when I posted the photo of my cross on Facebook, I got like hundreds of messages. How did you do it? How did you do it? Like, there was just, everybody was intrigued about it. And then I had to think about it. I'm like, do I share the plans or do I not? Right. And I didn't know how well the video will do, but I knew it was going to do well. And then it was just something that it's a lot of hand sanding to do, because, the tiny pieces. I mean, I do have a drum sander, so I sand everything to the drum sander before I assemble it. But then after it's glued up, I still have to do some hand sanding. And I don't love hand sanding. So I was like, I don't know how many of these guys I'm still going to make, because I don't really love making this. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to share the video and show how to do it and give the plans for free. So I did that, and it worked out, because in the end, they bought me a CNC. And if you do the math, I would have had to make few hundred crosses that I probably would have lost, interest in it, because it would become boring. So in the end, it worked out.
There you go. So you were in a giving mood, and at the end of the day, the giving mood came back and was beneficial to you at the end of the day.
It was good, and it also brought a lot of traffic to my website, because I give the free plans. So everybody that went to the website, they actually end up buying some waxes and some other products. Like, every order had like the free download and something else. So
nice.
It was,
so it drove a lot of traffic too.
And that drove it into the, Google search too and stuff. So it all worked out. I do not regret it one bit.
So I think we call those leaders, right? Like the Sam's or the Costco hot dogs. Like, there's no way they make money off those. But people do it.
Yep. So it was good.
Very cool. That's cool. Yeah, I definitely seen a lot of people. I've even seen them on Facebook Marketplace for sale within my area, and I'm like,
I think people sell the plans that were exactly my drawing. Not even.
Yeah, see, that's not cool. That's not cool. Man, that sucks when people do that.
Yep.
Derek Smiley Works. Good evening, everyone. Hello. Thank you for joining. Of course, as always, we appreciate everyone. When you join, you let us know where you're joining from. But if you have any questions, feel free to let us know, and we will get to them as we can. So any upcoming cool things you're going to be trying, or some things you can surprise us with?
Well, I was telling you before we went live, I want to try the double-sided 3D carving. And I have 5 lasers I need to review. I have in the shop right now. That it's been kind of a problem, because I use a Mac computer. So I was in the middle of testing them, and all of a sudden I did my software update. And the newest software update on the Mac, if you do that, none of the lasers will connect to your computer anymore. Whoa. I'm talking like multiple brands. Even the X2 laser that I had in my shop and used for over 2 years, it will not connect.
Wow.
Like, I spent like many hours with different, Chinese companies doing the tech support, giving them access to my computer, trying to figure out what's wrong. It's just the software update from Mac. It will not allow your computer to connect to any lasers. So I ended up buying a Windows, and it came 2 days ago and is defective. The battery doesn't charge. So I have to ship it back, and I ordered another one. It's coming tomorrow. So hopefully I'll get those lasers done. And during this whole saga, I've decided that once I finish with this, I want to finish them by September 1st. September 1st, I will not be doing any laser reviews. I don't care who the brand is, what kind of laser it is, no laser videos at all. Those would be completely out of my YouTube or Facebook.
Yes. So now that Lowe's is my largest sponsor, to be honest, I don't have to do like, I think I was more acceptance to want to do the backpack reviews. And one is for generating income, just being transparent.
Right.
And 2 is obviously free tools. But having a sponsor like Lowe's, they're very generous.
Yep. Nice.
So I could probably do 4 videos a year, and instead of doing 25 laser videos a year, you know what I mean? And
I have affiliates with Lowe's. I don't really shop there, so I don't buy anything there.
yeah, you know the thing is that for me, shopping at Lowe's is out of my way because there's not one. I have to go 2 towns away. But we always say that to me, like Lowe's is a bougie Home Depot, right? Like they're a little fancier than Home Depot. Like Home Depot, the floors are dirty, the roof may be leaking. You know what I mean? It's like they're really not trying to impress you at all. They don't even care, right? They just want to give you a good product at a fair price, and that's it. To me, it's like the Aldi's of the big box stores, right? But Lowe's is a little different. They're a little more polished. I mean, you walk in there and it smells good in there. Like you're like, we got air freshener in here. You know what I mean? Like floors are all clean. So you know what? I may steal my. Hold on, I buffered a second. That printer has to be online all the time. I think I'm gonna steal the network connection because I was buffering.
Yeah, you were choppy there for a second.
All right, I'm hard right now, so give it a second to switch. I shouldn't buffer anymore. Dewey said, new green screen. Everyone says that because making fun of me because Steve's projector looks so good that you can't tell that it's not real.
I know. It looks really good.
It looks really good. So then when
he puts a lot of time into all his videos and all his appearance.
So when people saw the background, they were like, is that real? Do you really have that printer? Do you really have this? They're talking about this DTF rack and laminator machine. I'm like, it's messy back there. If I wanted efforts to put a fake screen, I think I'd clean up the background a little bit. But yeah. Lauren said it's amazing how far technology has come in a short period of time. It's insane. I mean, I think that like all this UV, like I think that if the DTF, DTG never existed, that was like the starter for this UV, right? And now these UV printers, there's only like really like one print head, right? It's all Epson print heads, right?
Yep.
And some of the key features are like 3 different manufacturers. But what happens is when you have 25 people who are having these assembled, you're going to see from the same Chinese manufacturers, you're going to see an improvement in product and a drop in price, right? Because, you know, now they're buying 200,000 of these chips versus 20, you know, type of thing. But yeah, I'm excited. I keep saying that I think that UV printers and 3D printers at some point in time are just going to be something that everyone has in their home. It's just going to be like a normal thing.
I know. I still have my the UV printer. I feel like every week or so I keep thinking I should just sell that thing because I never use it. It just sits there. And I was like, I should just sell it. But then I was like, I don't know, it's nice to have it. What if I need it?
Right. Well, I guess the biggest thing is that doesn't have a huge footprint.
Right, that's pretty small. But I have all the accessories and tons of ink that is expired now.
Yeah. I know like with DTF and DTG, the inks expiring only matter for white.
Right.
The colors could be 2-3 years old and it wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah, but this one, it just won't let you use it. You put it in, it says, no, cartridge expired. You can't use it. Like it just would not let you, the software.
Yeah, I think it's going to take time to then, because a lot of these companies, when DTF and DTG came out, they tried locking down the machines. And it was only a matter of time till it was aftermarket software that you could like reset the chips on the printers, you could do all kinds of stuff.
Right.
These $13 apps you could download that were like game changers, especially using aftermarket inks and all that. So you'll start seeing that roll out when that becomes more and more common, and I definitely think you should not use expired white ink, because your print head could be $800 or more, and you'll be kicking yourself in the butt for that one. David said, "Good evening from South Milwaukee." Hello, hello. Thank you.
Hi,
well,
David.
Here, this is to my comment earlier, Skyler, about what you're.
I mainly use a scroll saw to turn writing pens. I've never heard of anyone using a scroll saw to make pens.
Dangerous to me. Yeah.
I love my scrolls. I have 2 scroll saws. I use them all the time, but I didn't know you can make pens on it.
I think it's one of those things that, like, you have to respect tools, obviously, but the more you use them, the more you can be comfortable with them. And it could be a twofold, right? Complacency, you get hurt because you're so used to it, you just like. But the other thing
is,
scroll
saws will not hurt you. It's like probably the safest tool. It's because it goes so slow. I mean, you're like going like, millimeter by millimeter. It's not something that just a hand goes in it. But the problem is it's quite a learning curve. When I got my scroll saw, I mean, I could not cut a straight line. It took me like 6 months to be able to cut a straight line. It's just because it's always drifting the way the blades are made. You always have to fight the drift. So it's kind of a technique involved. It just comes naturally after you do it for a while. And I talked to a lady that she does a lot of scroll saw, and she's from France, and her whole business is, about scroll saw and stuff. And she told me that in order to be able to accurately use the scroll saw, you have to put in 10,000 hours. So I did the math. I'm like, no way, I'm not getting to 10,000 hours. I will never learn it. But, just keep using it and using it and using it. And now I can cut pretty accurately on the line and make all kinds of things. So it takes practice. But once you practice it and you get it, then it's really useful.
That's cool.
I can cut faster than the CNC can cut it on the scroll saw.
Oh, wow.
Like not 3/4 inch material, but 1/2 inch, and just pretty much almost just as accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Radu said, "Is that called bang paint? The paint you were talking about?"
That sounds familiar. I do have some. I can bring a can and look at it, but yeah, it's like you buy it on Amazon. It comes in a box of 12 colors, I think.
So I never pictured you with the bandana and a hoodie graffitiing on the side of the road, but hey, you never know, Sometimes those artists, you see those trains go by and you're thinking that, like, how do you not do this for a living? Or do you do this for a living?
You still have to seal the wood with some, like clear coat, so it doesn't seep into the pores. But then when you spray that, it's so much more thicker and it dries really quick, like seconds. So it just doesn't have time to really soak in. So it makes it really nice.
Yeah, so I cover the front of the wood with masking tape for that.
Masking tape is good, but like if you just use acrylic that you mix with water, it will still seep into the pores of the wood. So if you seal it with like, you can use shellac, you can use all kinds of varnishes, but I like to use this, like it's called triple thick something. I can send you a picture of the can. It has like one coat, but it's super thick and it protects it. And then you spray and then you just sand it.
So I was using the masking tape so that, since if I don't paint well in the lines, so to speak,
right,
it gets on the masking tape. When I peel it off, it looks like, oh, it's perfect, because before that I was trying to be too perfect, and I was like, why am I?
But that's the thing, you can use the masking tape with your CNC and carve it, but you still want to seal the wood prior. Sand it and seal it.
Okay.
That way the masking tape sits. Like if you put masking tape on something that has texture, the things can still seep under it, versus if you sand it and it's smooth like glass, and you seal it and it's smooth, and the tape really sticks to it and it will not allow the paint to go underneath.
That's cool. One thing I started doing with the memorial boxes is I was doing coasters, a slate coaster, and laser engraving someone's face.
Nice.
And I got those settings dialed in really nice. But with the CNC, it'd be nice to, I can go, real tight parameters to inlay that to sit flush.
Right.
Because any other way that I was doing it, it was labor intensive, right?
You can do V carving with a CNC using a V bit, and you can do a picture, like you carve a picture onto the wood. You can make it as big as you want. You have a 4x4, you can make it 4x4. And then you paint it, and then you sand it, and the paint only goes in those tiny grooves. It's kind of like the way the laser works. It makes lines. The same thing, you can do it with the CNC, very shallow, and you paint it. You can make some really cool pictures. So look it up. There's plenty of videos on YouTube, but it works well.
Justin said, Montana Gold is a low-pressure acrylic paint that works great. There you go.
Let me see what I have. I'll come back. I'll show you what I have.
Okay. I think we need the Jeopardy song. So those are missed. Steve is not on the live today because today is Canadian Day, or their version of 4th of July. So this Skyler and I.
So it's dang paint.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, it's just graffiti paint.
Okay. So Radui's asking, he said, you've made numerous crosses. Which one are you talking about that you gave that file away?
The one that is it looks like woven one. I have one of those. I'll bring it to you. I'll show you.
Sorry. We're making a run today.
So I have two of them here that I've made, 6 months ago or so, and I never finished hand sanding them. But this is what they look like. And then on the back, they get this backer that will just get glued like this for support.
Yeah, I really like those crosses. They're awesome.
Yeah, they've been good sellers until I gave away the recipe, and then nobody bought it anymore. I think I sold one like 2 weeks ago.
I actually bought that 3D filament that's supposed to be like wood. I wanted to try to print that cross out and see how does it actually look.
You can do it on the CNC. I have file that somebody was selling them on Etsy. There are multiple people that sell them now. So I actually bought the file for the CNC. So you can 3D carve it.
Yeah, see if it was I don't know, just some things look like corny, or just like you can't replicate real wood, but then a day, it's $22 in filament. If I think it sucks and I throw that roll away and I never use it again, but I wanted to try. You can always
paint it.
Yeah, that too. So I said, I just want to try it. The other thing I was thinking that would be cool is that I saw Rust-Oleum makes this paint that's for the composite wood for decks. So I thought, wow, that would be something that I wonder how it would, using that composite paint that's actually made for basically plastic, but it's kind of a stain versus a paint. You could do some crazy things like that. So I don't know, I got some experimenting things. Dewey said, hi, Rick Ramirez. I assume RR, or talking to someone else. Rick said, no longer from Fish Lake, Indiana. Oh, man. Are you joking? This is hilarious. If you're not joking, that's hilarious. Fish Lake, Indiana to Bass Lake, Indiana. And I'm assuming you love the fish. That's crazy. So I've heard a lot of people taking your printer and turning them into laser engravers. It's crazy. I haven't heard that.
Me neither.
Yeah, but modding things is definitely things that people do, right? We tinker. CNC lasers. Yeah, I don't know.
I would not use it. I saw that Onefinity, they have lasers too for their CNC. I would not do that. First of all, it's not enclosed. You have all that smoke coming out in the shop. And, you're trying to keep your CNC and all the bearings and everything clean. And just the laser should not be there.
Yeah. I definitely agree, because when I first started laser engraving, I did not have an external extraction
Mm-hmm.
for all the ventilation, and my wife constantly complained. She says our house smells like a hamster cage, because I like using cedar, and it was right. And now I did the 6-inch exhaust, or I think 6-inch exhaust, and
Yeah, I do have to inline fan to go outside 6-inch. Yeah. And I
so
only use fully enclosed lasers. If it's not fully enclosed, I don't do it.
yep. So, but I didn't start off that way. I started with all open frame, and it was kind of just like.
Same here. Same here. It was like, we'd be like, you couldn't see your machine in the shop. It was like so much smoke.
Exactly. But that's what you started with, so that's what you had. You worked with what you had, right? Lauren said, I don't use the lathe to do turn pens, but I also use a scroll saw for flat work, working pictures in wood.
Yeah, I do a lot of intarsia. That's what I use my scroll saw for.
Well, this one's for you, Skyler.
I want to learn how to do inlay work with a scroll saw. Actually, inlays with a scroll saw are really, really easy. And the way you do it, you stack your 2 pieces of wood. Let's say you use 1/2-inch material. So you stack them one on top of another with some double-sided tape, or you use blue tape and CA glue to put them together. And you tilt your scroll saw to like 2 to 3 degrees, anywhere in there. And you just do some test cuts, make some circles. And because you have that degree, the 2 or 3 degrees, your piece that is smaller is going to fall into the other one. So based on, if it fits perfectly, then that's perfect. If it still sticks out a little bit, then you have to adjust your degree by maybe a 1/2 degree. And it's just really easy, and you get like perfect inlays, just like you get it on the CNC.
So, question: once you dial that pitch in, right? How
that depends on the thickness of the material. So if you use with perfect 1/2-inch and you get that degree perfectly, then you can repeat it every time and it's going to be perfect. If your material is just like a little bit thicker, then you have to dial in again.
So how consistently does that blade, do you have to readjust that blade, or if once you get it tensioned down, it really just stay there, or do you have to
It usually stays there, but the scroll saw blades are pretty much consumables. They will not last you long. If I do an intarsia project, I go through 10 blades during a project. Yeah.
Wow.
I have a cool project here. Let me show you. I have to unplug my computer to take you there. I have 2 of them going actually right now, but one of them is here. It's going to be a giant bald eagle.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yeah, very cool.
So that's I still have to do the wings. This thing is gonna be like 3 feet large.
So how much are those blades?
They're cheap. I get them for, I don't know how much I pay for them, but I get them in packs of 144, and it's probably like 20. Yeah. And it's probably like, I don't know, like $20, $40. I'm not sure how much it is. I can't remember. But I have like 500 of them on each size. They come in sizes. You can get like size 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the higher the number, the thicker they are for thicker material.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
So if you cut it with the number 0, it's barely any curve. You can pretty much cut it and just butt the pieces together and they fit perfectly.
That's cool. Yeah, because you said 10 blades, I was just thinking right away, like, whoa, how much do they cost? But yeah,
no, they're super, super cheap.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, you can make them last longer, but you don't want to. You want to have fresh blades, not suffer through it or get burn marks, and then you have to hand sand them. And they're super cheap.
Skyler got another one for you.
Hello from Montana. I love Skyler's channel as well. She encouraged me to dust off my scroll saw and experiment with it, as well as try new projects, Scott.
Very cool.
Very, very nice. Send some pictures for your scroll saw projects.
Yeah, drop them in the Facebook group. Let's see them. Prison Prim said, hello there. Hello, hello, hello. Radu said the only traffic jam in Maine involves a moose. I don't know if that's a dad joke or you're actually being for real. But I could see it. Yeah. We talk about, when Skyler's not alive, we always say, and I don't mean this in a mean way, we say Skyler's not a woodworker, she's an artist. That's different, right?
Well, thank you.
And I would give Daniel a hard time all the time because Daniel makes a lot of boxes. Skyler makes a lot of boxes. But Daniel is like my father was, an old school carpenter.
Carpenter.
You know,
I watch a few of his channels.
Yeah. So when you see both of your boxes together, it's not that Daniel's having night boxes. He does, but you just take it up that one notch that is not a woodworker. It's more, you have more of a creative, imagination.
I love making boxes. I haven't made one in a long time just because I have so many of them. It's like they're just not selling lately, so it just sits there on the shelf. I'm like, I shouldn't make another one because then it just takes more room on the shelf. So,
yeah. So what I saw Daniel does is when he gets too many boxes, he goes live and he says, "This box is $50. Buy a ticket, $5." And people, they do the $5. They send $5, $5, and somebody wins it. And then that $50 box, he ends up making like $300. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I've done a few giveaways on my channel and stuff, and it's always been tricky. Like I can't figure it out because there are so many scammers. Like I had once, I gave away a laser on my channel, and somebody, like I picked a random person and they won, and I announced that the person won it, and then for some reason it just disappeared. Like somehow that person disappeared. I couldn't even reach it. It was just gone. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, I like using the app that's in the StreamYard because it grabs the person's name,
Right.
and then people know that there's no way that I could manipulate that, right? At all. Oh, wow. Well, thank God you're okay. I'm sorry to hear that your house burned down. That is devastating.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
What from? Lightning, lasers?
That's devastating. Actually, we've the last couple weeks, let's say this last month in the Chicagoland area, we've been getting hit with some brutal storms.
I saw that.
And tornadoes wasn't really a big thing in this area, even though they call us Tornado Alley.
Last week you were in the basement with your son, right? Because of the tornado.
Yeah. My neighbor actually has a video of probably a 110-foot pine tree. You get in my yard, getting completely ripped out of the ground. It goes straight up, and then it lays flat down. And when it laid flat down, it fell between a fence, a shed, and my grapevines. And it's directly in between all this and didn't hit anything. And I was like, well, God was like, I'll take this out for you, and I'm just going to set it down. Like, if I was to cut that tree down to land where it landed, it would have took some work. So, but yeah, she's like, I got it on video. I haven't seen it yet, but every time she sees me, she reminds me. But yeah, that's been pretty brutal around here. Another one for you, Skyler.
I would like to learn how to cut at 2 or 3 degrees angles to give the wood that 3D effect. I mean, I don't know if it's for the scroll saw question. For the scroll saw, it's simple. Most scroll saws, they either tilt the arm or the table. So pretty simple.
So by tilting the table, is it easier in a comfort to feel it, to like hold your wood versus tilting the blade?
It's not hard. My scroll, well, both of my scrolls are the head tilts, not the table.
Okay.
So I guess I couldn't tell you the difference because my table stays flat.
Oh, okay. Yes, she does very nice work. It's insane. What is this?
I use a digital angle box made by Wixie. That's what I have. I have a few of them. One for my scroll saw, one for my table saw. That's how I put my table saw at the correct angle when I make boxes.
Nice.
Yep. Very accurate.
Rick said, undetermined, they don't know. Man, well, I'm glad you're okay. That is, house fires can be very scary.
It's scary.
Yeah. I had a bonfire in my backyard, and my fire pit is probably like 35 inches wide, a circle.
I saw some photos. There was like some huge fires there.
Yeah, like 6 feet deep. And the fire department came one time, and he says, Rick, look, I know you're in a corporate. You can do whatever you want. Nobody can say anything at all. But I just have a question. Like, why does it have to be so big? And I said, it's not. I said, it's pine. And I said, do you have anything to do right now? Are you busy? And he's like, oh, you're telling me I have to leave? I'm like, no. I'm like literally asking, like, do you have someone to be right now? He's like, no, not really. I'm like, well, then just stay. I gave him a bottle of water. I'm like, just wait 5 minutes tops. Give me 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, the fire was a quarter of the size. And he was like, that's
quick.
insane. And I was like, you know what's insane is that's what our house is built of. That's all 2x4s, right? So, that's crazy.
Yeah. We have periodically, we do have drills with the kids where we teach them how to use a fire extinguisher. We make a fire in the back and just to learn how to aim it and how to use it and pull the pin out and stuff. So
that's cool. Yeah, my son was very curious to one we had at the back, and I found it sprayed all over the back door.
Yeah, my kids know how to use a fire extinguisher and how to put on a tourniquet.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Lauren said, I have the, I don't even know how to say this.
Seiko 21-inch. The head tilts like that a lot. Yes, I have the Seiko and the Pegas. The Seiko, what I don't like is the fact it doesn't have the gears. So once you loosen that knob, it just kind of flaps over. You kind of have to hold it and put it in position. Where the Pegas has a gear that it just slowly moves. You can move it very accurately. But they're both great saws.
Radui said, nurse from insurance on her way for a yearly checkup. See you next week. All right, Radui.
Thanks so much for stopping by.
Thanks for joining. Yep. Lauren said, I also use the Fly Dutchman spirals and use Pegasus straight blades.
I've never got used to the spiral blades. I've tried that before and I just cannot control them because they go in every direction. You don't just cut straight. Like the teeth goes all around it. So it's just, you can move left, right, front, backwards. I only use Pegas geometry modified blades. Those are the only ones I use in all the sizes. Yeah. Mostly 3s and 5s.
Yeah, so there you go. I guess there's a lot of inspired people by watching your scroll site work. Yeah, I've never tried it. I've seen it a million times. It's always been something like,
it's addictive. I actually love it. It's a lot of hand sanding. So if you don't like hand sanding, it's not a thing for you because like cutting the pieces, it takes like, I don't know, a half an hour, 40 minutes. But then everything has to be shaped by hand and sanded by hand and make sure it fits. And it's just very finicky, but it's really fun. It's like painting with wood.
Yeah. My wife yells at me all the time. She'll says, why do you want to paint everything? You know, she's Canadian. I guess so she likes just like the natural, just leave it like it is.
I only use natural wood. I don't paint or stain anything. It's just, I look for all the exotic woods with different grain texture and colors, and I just love playing with that. Yeah,
so I cheat. I use stain because I don't have expensive woods most of the time.
A lot of the people that are just starting with scroll saw, they use MDF and they just use what they call, it's not really intarsia, it's called segmentation. So basically you take an outline, imagine any kind of SVG, you can just engrave it on your MDF or, you know, you can trace it or whatever. And then you just cut all the pieces with the scroll saw from the same piece of MDF. Right. So everything fits perfectly together because the blade is so thin. It's kind of like a laser blade, like the curve. It's very small. So then everything just fits perfectly together. Even if you go off the line and you can't cut straight, they will still go together because they're cut from the same piece. So then people will cut it out of MDF and then they prime it and paint it. Nice. So they do all these, you know, flowers and things. That looks like intarsia, you know, it's like, but it's called segmentation, and they just do it from one piece.
Okay.
So that's a great way to start because if you mess up and you go off the line, they will still go together.
Because it was the same original piece.
Yep.
Very cool. There you go. Tricks and tips, guys. You want to take this one?
It takes a lot of practice. The spiral blades, it was easy for me when I first started. Yeah, a lot of people love those. I mean, I only tried it for like 2 minutes. I was like, oh, I don't know. This thing is going everywhere. I have no control over it. So didn't try it again.
It looks like he has the exact opposite problem. He says the straight blades were harder for me.
Well, I told you in the beginning, it took me 6 months to be able to cut a straight line. It was always like,
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, so my one of my cousin's father passed away, so I'm gonna try to do some stuff for one of those planter boxes that I haven't done before. So yeah, so I'm gonna push myself to try to do something new, and that I'm gonna try to do some things with the CNC rather than laser. But yeah, Rick and I have been insane. So it's about that time now. So things are calming down with our property, but the first 2 months are just, man. Yeah, I'm like a full-time landscaper.
We're busy here too. I have not posted a video on my YouTube for over a month, which I've never done in 3 years that I had the channel. My channel is 3 years old. I've never had a month where I didn't post a video.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So people say all the time too. I've been I'm going to actually start a I'm going to create a membership.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
I
going to
have
start
memberships.
but I'm going to start putting out content that's members only and just kind of tricks and tips on how to get sponsorships, how to rank in YouTube, things that I've done, things that I always insert in my videos, quick editing tips, plugins, just all kinds of things. Just kind of share all my intimate knowledge and have it for members only, and not have and the reason I want to do it on members only is not because I plan to get rich quick, because I think 10,000 people are going to sign up. It's just because I don't want to put all this content out and pour my heart and soul into something that somebody just regurgitate my information, because that sucks. Like that kind of hurts. Like you were saying, when you put this information out there for free, here's a file, and then you see someone selling it, and it's like, man, come on,
It definitely hurts when you see that, but
yeah, so that's really the reason. I think it's going to be fairly inexpensive. It's just going to, at least if you still stole my content, at least you became a member, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I was thinking about doing not a membership, but a course about the CNC inlays. Now that I've been doing it a lot, I want to practice more. I want to make more things and then just make a course on it. I could just make a video and give it all up, but I'm not going to do that because it took me a long time to figure it out. So I think I'm going to make it into
the way I see it is, let's just say that course was $50. You just skipped 6 months of learning. In 2 weeks, you're like, oh, I got this. So not saying you couldn't have figured it on your own.
Yep. Well, I went through $200 of lumber just testing materials and bits and settings. So, because the thing is, I'm doing it on end grain cutting board, so I need to test it on end grain. I wanted to make sure that I'm testing on whatever I'm doing, and with the bits I'll be doing. And then I was like, first I found some bits that were like $80 a bit, and I learned all the settings for that, figured it all up. Then I found some that were $30. I'm like, well, $30 sounds a lot better than 80. I'm gonna buy this one. But then they were a little bit different. The same settings didn't match. So it was completely different settings. I had to figure it out. So
yeah. And that's cool too, because if you even have this different settings for different, different bits.
Yeah, I have 3 bits right now that does engravings really good. And they all have completely different settings, not even close to it. I don't understand how it works, why they're so different, but they're completely different. When I did it, the same settings from one to another, even though they said they're the same 6.2 degree bit, the plug wouldn't even fit at all. You couldn't push it in.
Oh, wow. Yeah, definitely difference in bits. When I first got the CNC, that was one of the things that I kind of went overboard on, buying bits.
I have 300 bits now.
I know. Steve
but
was
let me show you a cool thing about the inlay. So in the beginning, when I was testing things, I did this really cool, inlay. This is a half a cutting board. The other half is here.
Okay.
But I was not getting perfect fit. It was this gap in there.
Okay.
And the inlay looks very thin now. It was a 1/4 inch thick. I just kept sanding it because I wanted to see if I get any kind of gaps around the inlay when I sand it. How deep does it go being perfect? So I cut it in half and I saw that I had gaps. And when you make a cutting board, gaps are not good because you get moisture trapped in there and it will warp your board. It can grow bacteria and whatever. So you have to get it perfect. So eventually, this is what I got it to. This is from one of my cutting boards design. It's a little flower. It looks like that. So you want to get no gaps around it at all. But then the inlay on the inside, you want to be completely no gaps.
Nice.
Flash.
So, you know what I like about you is that the fact that you even cut the board because you really want to know. And
here's the star that I cut. So it's it's perfect, sharp corners, everything, and then no gaps underneath. This is how it goes in.
Yeah, because I mean that's just a horrible feeling that you sold something to someone, and a month later they're like, "Hey, this popped, or this cracked, or this warped." So
Well, that's
all
what I did for 2 weeks. I've been making inlays, and I was making full-on cutting boards and then cutting them in half. Well, at first I was sanding them. That's why that one was so thin, because I was like, okay, what if I have to resurface it? How many resurfacing I can get from one board? And then resurfacing it, I discovered it actually has a gap underneath. And then I started cutting them. Every inlay I made for 2 weeks, I cut them in half to look at them and see what it looks like. And finally got to the perfect settings.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, that's persistence and yeah. Santa's Living Grazing House said hello. Yeah, that's very cool. That and that just shows again craftsmanship, workmanship. Like hey, that you really want a well finished product, and even things that people can't see, right?
Well, yeah, but I don't want to make like 100 expensive cutting boards and sell them for $350 each, and then get emails every month be like, mine cracked, mine warped, mine something bad happened, and then you have to replace it or refund. So I want to make sure that they're going to be good from the beginning.
That's cool.
And you can get many resurfacings, so it's like I was thinking, if I make expensive cutting boards and people, they get scratches and stuff eventually, can they send them back in for a resurfacing so they look brand new after a year or 2 or 5 years? How many of those can you get done before you get to the bottom of your inlay? So that's the kind of testings I've been doing.
That's a cool thing. I didn't even think about that. That literally, having that resurface so that it can be new.
I've been watching this guy. He's a YouTuber, and he has like 150,000 subscribers, I think, or something. His name is Brian Wood. He does a lot of inlay cutting boards. Like he's the biggest guy when it comes to cutting boards that I can think of. He makes custom inlay cutting boards. He charges an average of $2,000 per board.
Oh.
So I was thinking, obviously I am not at his skill level or anything like that. I'm just starting, so I'm making, simpler things. But it would be nice to offer resurfacing. So if somebody spends $350, like I just sold the cutting board last week, it was a custom one for $350. That person might come back in a few years, be like, it looked very pretty in the beginning, but now it's all scratched. Can you resurface it? And then you might charge like, $100 to resurface it. But I wanted to see how many can I get done before you lose your inlay or details.
And I like the fact too that when you actually make them as a cutting board, people use them as a cutting board. Not just propped in their kitchen for decoration. So that's very cool as well. Yeah, I made a charcuterie board for my aunt, and put her a monogram in it and all this and that. And then they were kind of thinking maybe it was too nice not to use. And I was like, that's dumb. Like, no, but I cheated though. Aldi's, I don't know if they have Aldi's by you, but they have these bamboo thick cutting boards, like super thick,
right,
twice a year that they sell for I can't remember, I want to say like $14 or something, and I'll send my wife and say buy every single one of them.
I bought a whole bunch of those like 2 years ago or something. I was going to practice making those ocean waves with the epoxy.
Okay.
So I didn't want to make my own and use expensive wood to make it, just to practice. Right. So I bought a whole bunch of them, and I've never even tried to make one. They're still there. Once in a while, I get rid of one when my kids have some sort of event at school. It's like, Mom, I have to bring charcuterie board or some fruits or whatever, and I put it all on one of those boards, and I take them to school and leave it there.
Yeah, so I've made some fair share of money on those boards. So I can't complain.
I know Derek from Derek's Milo Woodworks. He was here on the chat earlier. He engraves them. He does like big engravings and he sells them. So.
I'm trying to share this last comment. For some reason, I can't. I don't know. Weird. There you go. Japater, I made a shark scooter board once. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. There's a delay in sharing the comments. But yeah, and that's definitely cool too. Is like I think that once you get to the point that you can use multiple tool sets to create one item, I think that's what kind of sets you apart too. Like if you're using, a laser, a CNC, or you're using a CNC and then something with that printer you have, just something, even if it's just on the backside. That I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Could you print an inlay?
Print an inlay?
Yeah, like carve it and then actually print inside of it.
You could, but aligning it to go exactly inside
Would be
might
pretty
a little
insane.
tricky.
Yeah.
I mean, you can definitely print over it and then send it to make sure.
Yeah. Looks like you got a question, Skyler.
Skyler, how do you listen to the tension on the Seiko for the zero blade? Mine keeps breaking the blades before I use them and the saw. Thank you for your help. I have not had trouble breaking them. They're definitely very thin. I don't use them often because they bend a lot, as you saw. Like they just don't stay taut. I use the number 3 and 5 the most. So I know a lot of people that does puzzles use the 0. It's not my favorite. I've tried it and it seems like it always kind of bends. Like you don't get a very straight cut. Like you definitely have to go very, very slow and use very thin material. If you're using 1/8 inch, and then those are the best blades to use because they go slow and they have very small curve.
So
but for anything thicker, I wouldn't use that.
So what's your go-to blade? Like,
I use the Pegas Geometry Modified number 3 the most. And then if I have thicker material, like a 1 inch, 1.5 inch, I'll go for the number 5.
When you say modified, why is it modified?
The blade, it's only about 5 inches. I'll show you what it looks like. So this is what the blade looks like.
Here, hold on.
So very, very thin, only about 5 inches in length. And I get them in a big pack like this. You get a whole bunch of them. And the geometry modified, that means, like the bend saw, like they have the teeth
Right.
that, goes downwards like this. So the teeth of a bend saw, let me draw it here. Handy, I have this piece of wood here. So it kind of goes like this, like a Christmas tree thing.
Okay.
Well, the geometry modified blade will have the teeth going downwards 2/3 of the way, and then the last third, they go upwards. So it's of getting a compression bit on your router bed. So you get cleaner cuts, and also this prevents the blade from drifting. And it's pretty much the only blade I know of that actually cuts straight. So you don't have to constantly fight that drift.
That's cool. That's cool. I didn't even know something like that existed.
Yeah, I tried many, many blades. A lot of people love the Olsen or the Dutchman Flight. I don't know what they're called. I have some of those too. But those ones, they slip a lot when you put them in. This ones, they're my favorite. They work the best, and they cut straight.
Lauren said, thank you. I'll keep using the number 3.
Yeah, the number 3, I use pretty much that on everything. All the Intarsia projects I do on everything. Like I said, unless I have material that is 1 inch or thicker, then I'll go to a 5.
Okay. Yeah, to be honest, I didn't, I've only really kind of seen those online. I've never really seen one in person. Maybe Harbor Freight, I've seen some of the scroll saws in person.
Yes, they actually have a really good one. It's only $200 bucks. It's the Bauer, the Harbor Freight. A lot of the people in my group bought that one, and they love it. Like low vibration, pretty well built, $200 bucks. Can't beat that.
Yeah, yeah. Santa's Living Group said, I hope you get my CNC moved and put together this week. Maybe make a video so I beat Rick.
I think he bought the Genmitsu. I think that's what I saw. If I could be wrong. Correct me if I was wrong.
Let's see.
I saw he bought a CNC and a 3D printer.
Yeah, Santa's Living Group said, I've used spiral blades. I think You missed it. You missed it. We were just talking about this.
I tried them. I couldn't make them work for me. I only tried them for 2 minutes, and I felt like I had no control over them, so I could not use them. Yeah. But they're great for when you have, like, if you do a Christmas tree that has a lot of jiggity things, because then you can go really easy on all directions. But
have you seen Sanders Live Engraving's wood shop or his shed?
I think I've seen it in a video or two. Yeah.
Just insane. I think it's probably like the last 3 months, like how his shop has grown has just been phenomenal.
Yeah, I started in a 2-car garage. If you watch my videos in the beginning, I don't know how I operated there, but it worked, and you know, made a business out of it, and then was able to build a bigger shop.
You know, I think the biggest thing to tell people is that when you see people online, see people on YouTube, you see these maker spaces, whatever that you're working in, you have no idea how long it would have taken to get to that level. And when you're first starting, it does help that if you do have a full-time gig, because all the money you're making on the side, you can put it right back in, right? Yep. Because if it's a source of income, you need that to pay some of the bills. So it takes a little longer. So definitely starting off when you're not depending on the income, putting your 100%.
When I started woodworking, all I had was, I had a DeWalt job site table saw that my husband bought me for Christmas. He also bought me my DeWalt chop saw.
Okay.
And then my first purchase was a planer. So I had those 3 tools. That's all I had. And then I started a YouTube channel showing woodworking, but I didn't know how to do anything. I actually did not know how to use a drill to put a screw in.
Oh,
so
wow.
When I started my YouTube channel and I started my shop, the first thing I did is I needed to build a bench. So I went to the shop. I was like, I'm going to build myself a bench. And my husband told me, it's like, you know, you don't want the Phillips screws because they strip really easily. You want the ones with the star. Mm-hmm. So I bought all the sizes of the screws online, and they all came, and I had all the screws, and I started to build my bench, and I was crying. Every screw I had in, it will go halfway in and then will strip. And I had this like bench that was putting together, and nothing was attached because the screw will only go halfway and strip. And I was like, honestly crying in the shop. And my husband came, he's like, what's the matter? I'm like, I am like so stupid. Every person you can see, they can put in screws and they can build things. I'm like, I can't just screw two 2x4s together. So he's like, well, let me help you. So he's like, okay, well, give me the right tip for the drill, you know, the T20 or whatever it was. So I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, these things don't fit in this thing. Give me the right one. I didn't know they come in different sizes.
Yeah.
So I was using too small of a tip, and every screw was stripping. And I was like, I had this like half-built bench that all the screws are only halfway in, and I couldn't pull them out, and I couldn't push them in.
Oh.
But that's where I started. And then I was like, a week later, I had a YouTube channel. There you go. I'm starting, and I'm teaching you guys how to do woodworking, basically.
That's very awesome. That's very awesome. You know, and it's humbling experience that you can that you're even willing to share that, some vulnerabilities, so to speak. But you know,
I built my bench, and then my first video ever on the channel was putting my vise on the bench. Like, I didn't even build anything. That was like, there's my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Here we start. That was 3 years ago.
It sounds stupid, but one of the things I was so proud of was building a table that's literally just a full sheet of plywood. And the reason that I was so happy with that was because with the DeWalt table saw, cutting full sheets by yourself is difficult. Like,
and could be dangerous.
Yes. So, you know, you're like, so when I first built that table, that like kind of what my table saw goes into the end, I was showing everyone, like, that was the proudest moment of my life. But if you're not a woodworker, you just had no idea how handy that table is, right? But
when I got my table saw, which was DeWalt, you know, contractor saw, I was afraid to turn it on for the first week. So I watched all the YouTube videos because my husband he's not a woodworker. He doesn't know how to use it, but he bought it for me. So I'm like, I don't know how to use it. I looked through the manual. I'm like, I don't understand anything. I'm going to watch some YouTube videos. So I watched all the safety videos. I watched all kinds of things. And then the very second day of trying it, like the first day, I only made one cut. I'm like, the piece of wood went through it. It cut. I was like, okay, we're good. Next day, I'm going to go build something. So the next day I went to build something, completely forgot what I watched on YouTube. And I used my miter gauge with the fence, and I got a kickback, and a piece of wood flew right by me somewhere onto the wall. And that was scary as heck. And I was like, okay, slow down. I really have to learn the safety things.
Yeah. So my daughter, she's big into theater when she was in high school, and part of theater what she was doing was building the scenery in the backgrounds. And the boys in her class couldn't use a table saw, so it was funny that. And my daughter's small; she's like 5 foot tall. So this little 5 foot tall, she's picking up a sheet of plywood, slapping it down, and showing them like, "This is how you cut it." And they're like, "How do you know how to do this?" She's like, "My dad."
That's awesome.
But definitely a little girl power moment. Like it doesn't have to be just a man thing. Definitely anybody can do it. Adapt your skills. But I will say this: I'm a little more judgmental when a man has 2 left hands. I'll give women a pass and say she could learn, but I kind of think like as a man, I mean, there's men out there who can't even change a tire, and that's pretty sad, So yeah. Santa's Live Engraving said Jimitsu 4040 Pro Max.
I was right.
Nice one. Very cool. Very cool. Congratulations.
What you make with it?
I think he said he was still putting it together and he wants to make some CNC videos and beat me to the punch.
I'm still waiting for your videos.
I know. I haven't made it.
Maybe that's what should be your thing. You're doing the V-carve engraving. Just film it. If it's a fail, people love fails. I always say I'm gonna make a what do you call that? Like the group in your videos.
A compilation video of all the fails.
Yeah, all the fails. I'm gonna say like shop fail number 1, shop fail number 2, and because I film so many stuff, and then halfway through it completely fall apart, and I've never posted the video. I'm like, I can't show that. It was not good. Toss it and make something else. But I think people love fails. Those will go virals.
You know what I saw people do, and I thought was funny, is that you normally edit those type of things out, right? It's at the end of the video when the video's over. They show all the stuff that they took out that was screwed up and like son of a, and like they're swearing or they're like doodle. Like I thought that was funny when people do that. That was kind of cool.
I made a really cool engraved cutting board the other day, and it was really cool. And I filmed half of it, and then I kind of forgot that I was filming it, and I finished it, and I didn't film half of it. So I'm like, oh well, I'll make another one.
You got it in the moment. Lauren says, I'm missing some of the comments somehow. I'm sharing them on the screen. So those who may not be aware, this is live on Skyler's as well as my social media. So whether you're watching this on YouTube, whether you're watching this on Facebook, TikTok, however you're watching this, the reason we're using this app, it's called StreamYard, is because we're able to pull all the comments together. We're well aware that if you're in the same feed that you can see the comments, so we share them on the screen so that everyone can see them. And then we also share them on the screen because there's a lot of people who don't actually watch the podcast. They listen. And, they're working. And then when there's a comment that they want, they jump from the computer and they comment. Or there's people watching on the TV. I know it's just horrible. I can't remember his name. He is the king of Lightburn tutorials. He watches
Rich?
Yes.
Rich.
Yeah, Rich watches our podcast, but he watches on his TV. So when he wants to chime in, he fires up his laptop. So he's a little delayed in the response, but he does it that way.
I've seen on my stats from YouTube, almost 70% of my viewers are watching it on TV.
Yeah. So that's the exact
thing
point. Yeah. So and then they may fire up their phone or they fire up the laptop, and all of a sudden they want to make a comment, but they're watching it on a full size TV.
Hey, let me show you my latest cutting board inlay.
Let's see it.
I just oiled it earlier today because I just finished it.
That is nice.
So you can see like no gaps, everything is nice and tight.
So if you don't mind me asking, what's something like that go for?
I've sold one. It's a different design. I posted on the Facebook group, like has a branch of cherry flowers. That one I sold one for $350, and I have another one. But
so how much time do you think you have in that?
Let me put this back. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So it does take some time because you have to start with 2 end grain cutting board. You can't take an end grain cutting board and put an inlay that is not end grain because the wood movement, will make it crack.
Right.
So you have to make 2 end grain cutting boards. That means you take the wood, you cut it into strips, glue it together into a cutting board, plane it, get it flat, cut it again, turn it, glue it again, flatten it again. So you have to start with 2 end grain cutting boards that are completely flat. So then in one you cut the pocket, and one you cut the plug with the CNC. The CNC takes like less than 4 hours.
Okay.
But making the cutting boards is 2 days.
So to me, you're saying making the cutting boards 2 days.
Right. I mean,
But
a lot of waiting time for the glue to dry. And I do have a drum sander, so for flattening, it does help, or you can flatten them on the CNC.
Right. But well, the reason I'm saying that is because I think that just creating that cutting board itself, not doing anything at all, just creating that cutting board, that could be a 2 to 3 week project for someone first learning.
Right. I mean, I've sold the just regular end grain cutting board with no design on them or anything between $200 and $250 a cutting board.
Right. So just creating the board in itself is a skill set, right? And then once you kind of mastered that skill set, then you can add special things to it, like you're saying with the inlays and engravings and things like that. But not to undermine just the cutting board itself. That's a lot.
Yeah. And then, of course, after you cut the plug and the, pocket, you have to glue it together, wait for it to dry and whatever. You have to flatten it again, and then hand sanding. The sanding takes a long time. If you ever sanded an end grain cutting board, I used to make them before I had a drum sander, and that's how I got carpal tunnel at both of my hands. I had to have surgery. I was using a DeWalt orbital sander. It has so much vibration. Well, I always used to make 2 cutting boards at a time because that's how many clamps I had. Right. So I couldn't make any more because I didn't have enough clamps. So I would always make 2 at a time. So then in the end, when they're done, I had to sand 2 at a time. And after sanding 2 cutting boards properly, I couldn't feel my fingertip. It was like shocking when I would touch your fingers like this. Right, and eventually ended up with carpal tunnel, and I had to have surgery. So then I bought better orbital sanders, got drum sander, work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, you paid your dues though, right? I mean, you started with what you had and made it work. But yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, and I think just the small touches as well. Like it's just not a rectangle piece of board. And notice you rounded the corners off. There was somewhat of a pitch on the ends, and even the you see people adding the juice grooves and things like that. Just small little things like that.
Yeah, and I bought some really cool brass feet, so I don't just put the rubber feet on them. If I make just a regular, edge grain cutting board, I'll put the rubber feet because they're cheap and whatever. But for this, if it costs a good amount of money, I'll go the extra money and put brass feet. I have some really nice brass feet.
That's very cool.
But I love making it, so I thought it was fun.
Yeah. Uber said, anyone going to Clack Invasion, Minnesota, I'll be there. Nope. I'm not. If anyone is in the live and is going to the Clack Invasion, let us know. It probably wouldn't have been a bad idea if I have an uncle who doesn't live too far. I could have visited him at the same time, but just a lot of things going on right now. And I know we have a fair share amount of followers who are in the Chicagoland area. And like within the last 2 weeks, they were wanting to do this get together. But we all know, like, if you're in gardening or fruit farm or anything like that, like there's a certain period of time where you got to get everything kicked off. And because I own a farm, I've just been overwhelmed to getting that on going.
Yeah, we had like a heat wave. It's been like 90 degrees and humid and miserable. Yeah, I went to the garden store today and bought I think about 40 pots of plants that I'm trying to plant. But I'm not going to do it in the next few days because it's going to be miserable.
Yeah, this whole week's supposed to be in the hundreds.
Yeah. So. Yeah, the deer ate all of our flowers in the front, or most of them. Ate boxwoods and hollies and everything. Didn't care.
I have this stuff that I put down that keeps them away. It's like some kind of pellets. Mm-hmm. It works. I'll take a picture of it and send it to you, but I do that around my garden and I do that around my trees because they will debark my whole trees.
Yeah, my husband had this great idea that he would feed them, and he would put the feeder. He bought this giant ass feeder, and he put it in the backyard, past the fence, because the backyard is fenced. But he put it in the woods there, and he buys a few 100 pounds of corn that he puts there every week. So he thinks that that would work. I just think he attracts them more. I mean, we have like, a pack of, you come home from grocery store at 3 p.m. and it's like 7 deers on the front lawn eating my flowers.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. They start, well, you're really good at photography. Start taking some photos. Got a question for you, Skyler.
Hello, Skyler. I'm a new member and I've watched many of your videos, a lot of them more than once. Well, thank you. Thank you, Dale.
Cool. Another comment from Dale.
I just wanted to let you know that I have learned so much from you. Keep up the good work, young lady. Well, thank you. I'm good at pretending I know what I'm doing. I'm just learning. I'm learning every day.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. That's what I say. The day you think you know everything is the day you should just quit, right? Because that means you're not willing to learn.
I feel like every day I learn more, the more I know that I learn that I don't know. In the beginning, you think you know things until you learn more. And then you're like, what? That? I didn't know that. Then you're like, I'm so stupid. I really don't know anything.
So as most people, when you first start selling, you start selling to family and friends, right? And when you first start making something, you're very proud and it looks so good to you, right? And a year later or sometime later, you're at a family gathering and they're like, oh, Rick made this. And you look at it and you're almost embarrassed, right? Because it just looks horrible to you because how well your skill sets have grown.
I had this exact happening to me. I've made these boxes when I first started woodworking, so 3 years ago. And I was using a bird's mouth joinery on a router with a router bit. And I made them out of red cedar and I thought they were amazing. So I have them for sale and I've been on my website for sale. And somebody bought one about 6 months ago or something. But I have not looked at those since I made them. I went to pack it and I looked at it. I'm like, I cannot possibly sell this thing. So I ended up refunding him the old money. And because he bought 2 boxes, he got one that I made more recent and it was perfect. And then he got the one that I made in the beginning. And I looked at it. I was like, I can't sell that. So I just refunded him the money for that box and sent him the box as a gift. I'm like, I am so sorry. I can't take any money for this. It's not up to my standards. But yeah, I looked at it. I was like, oh, I can't. I didn't really feel like making a new one.
But to me, that's good though. Like it shows your growth, right? But it is funny though how you were just like, so happy and that was so good. And
yeah, the first cutting board I ever made, I gave it to my brother as a gift for his birthday, and he lives like 5 minutes away from me. It was just like a thin edge grain cutting board, but I didn't know anything about lumber movement and how to work with it and stuff. So I just went and bought online from Home Depot some walnut, and I made it with that walnut. It looked great. And 2 weeks later, it worked like crazy because the wood was not completely dry. I didn't let it acclimate in the shop. It just bought the wood, made a cutting board, and gave it to him. But terrible.
Lauren says, I just found you last week, Skyler, and I subbed. New subscriber for you.
Welcome to the family.
Said monogram keeps deers away from gardens and flowers. Yeah, the only thing is that is human poop. I don't know about that, putting human poop down on my lawn. And I know people are so obsessed, like, it makes your grass so green. I'm
a little bit afraid to put any kind of things on my lawn just because I have dogs.
Right.
And they like to eat the grass too. Like that's why I don't spray any pesticides or anything like that. For some reason, they get out, they chew on grass. I don't know why, but
it's supposed to be good for the digestive system. But yeah, but I put 3 different things down on my lawn. My grass is like, hey, I'm Mexican, right? I got to have that green grass. If you come to my house and my grass is not very green, you should question my Mexican, pull my Mexican card. But I only use organic. I use like a baby shampoo type thing on my lawn. I tell people all the time, they're like, what fertilizers do you use? I'm like, most of the time you don't need fertilizers. I tell people, go grab a Phillips screwdriver and walk around your yard and stab your lawn. So when your neighbors look like you're a psycho, really what you're trying to see, does the screwdriver bottom out? And most of the time it doesn't. And the reason it doesn't is because your dirt's so hard, right? So when it rains, the water's actually not absorbing and it's kind of like washing off, right?
Right, and evaporates.
Exactly. So if you put this Johnson & Johnson baby soap, where they make solutions that are like a Johnson & Johnson down in your lawn, all it's doing is conditioning dirt to absorb it. and your grass will drastically change, and that's all organic. But yeah, I'll send you my list.
Yes.
Santa's Living Great and said, if you can't dazzle them with brilliance. Yeah. So yeah, definitely always something to learn. So it's cool. But yeah, I definitely still have a lot to learn in CNC. You know, I kind of bought a CNC with certain things, items in mind. But I know that things that I'm using other things for, like a laser, that I could do them much easier with the CNC. So I need to start broadening the uses of the CNC.
I think when you do it, you should film it. There's truly no good beginner CNC videos on YouTube, because I was trying to find those videos so I can learn. And there's none. Like, you know, the first thing Onefinity tells you, put together your CNC. First thing, surface your spoil board. There was no good video on how to do it step by step. Everybody says like, oh, do this. And, you know, you get your X and Y from the middle of the board. But nobody actually shows you how to do that. I didn't know that surfacing the spoil board was the hardest thing for me to figure out, because I couldn't find any information on it. I didn't know how to X and Y to the middle of the board. So it was just from the corner.
Yeah. That's definitely something I wanted to do, kind of a entry level. And I think too is that the biggest thing is that just all the different variables why you would choose, right? Forget the brands, why you want that, just power, size, dust collection, all the different hidden surprises that this thing gets home and you're like, oh, I still can't use this until this, right? And then the bit thing too, like how I went down that rabbit hole and just got happy on Amazon and was buying this and buying that. And I've used
trying to figure out how to attach your material to the table. That was another big one. Like I have the spoil board with the dovetail clamps and stuff. I have the C-track clamps, the T-track clamps, but I've still had it where my material came loose and it went spinning into the bit and it broke my dust boot and bad things happened and I broke bits and, you know, just things need to learn.
Yeah. You know, I was right from the gate. I bought this, I'm not in my basement, so I can't show you, but it's some kind of yellow tape.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically for CNCs to do that, because I know a lot of people use CA glue and blue tape.
Yeah, that's what I use now. I bought like 3-inch tape, blue tape.
Right. So I bought this yellow tape that supposedly that's what it's actually for.
That's like carpet tape, super strong.
Yeah.
And it gums up your scissors when you cut it, because I use that with my router templates. And I had to buy scissors every week because they're like so gummed up. I'm like, I'm not going to clean them. I'm just going to buy new scissors.
Yeah. Well, I was using a thinner to just clean that glue off. But yeah, exactly. But yeah, it is. It's fun. You know, what's funny is that like certain small things like that, you don't realize that like that's not unique to you until somebody else says the problem. You're like, oh yeah, that is a problem.
And then I found this other one that doesn't gum up your scissors, a good tape. And I bought a whole bunch of rolls and I was using that for the CNC and I was covering my board, you know, with that stuff. And then the table, no, not the table, just the board, because it's double-sided. But then I looked up on Amazon, it was like $30 per roll. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I can't be using that to just use for the CNC. So bought a whole bunch of, I'll show you here. I bought like a big box of this 3-inch blue tape and just use this with CA, and that works good. But I use clamps too, not just the tape. Tape is just for insurance. Yeah.
So I'm gonna have 2 different types of setups on my CNCs. So as far as the clamping system, and I'm doing that intentionally because I want to see which ones I like better. And part of the video's comparison is going to be the pros and cons the way the table's set up. Because I was so set at like these dog holes and like what I thought. It's kind of like you have this idea of what you think you're going to use, and then as you start using, you're like, I don't use that at all. And then like what actually works.
I have a spoil board that just sits on top of my CNC spoil board that I made the dovetails, and that's what I use if I cut through, because then if I cut through that, I can just replace it. Right. And if I just do inlays that I need my spoil board to completely be flat, so then I just use it straight on the CNC table because it doesn't cut through. So then I know I won't ruin anything, but it's completely flat.
Well, that's a good thing, because most people just completely destroy the spoil board and then they're constantly replacing it. Yeah.
So I have a temporary one that I drop on top, and then the one that is just my permanent one.
Lauren said, people need to find common ground like us creators and learn from each other. It would be a much better place. Yes, let's drop the egos, and just share. And I think that's part of the reason, like, we're doing these podcasts and the reason we have the Facebook group, and that's the whole purpose of that.
I think that's a misconception that people think the YouTubers are competitive and whatever. I found the opposite. They're so helpful and they actually stick together. And I've learned from some YouTubers and followers more than I've learned from watching YouTube or anything else. Like Derek, that he was earlier online. Everything I know about epoxy, he's the one that taught me. I didn't know him personally. I just saw his work and I commented to it. And I tried to do epoxy and mine was full of bubbles and was a disaster. So then I showed him my project and then he said, well, I'll teach you. So he sent me like videos, step by step, everything I need to buy, how to do it. And now I perfected and I'm great at epoxy, but that's because he taught me. And he's a YouTuber, he's on Facebook. And other people helped me with CNC. I had in the group, I had some problems and people called me and talked me through it. Like those 3D carvings when I was getting ridges. I had people teach me how to fix those and stuff. So
it's cool. I agree and disagree. I'd say that that I definitely see that now, but not when I was first starting. And the only reason they say that is when I was like, I don't know, 1,000 subscribers, I would just say just first starting. Many times if I commented or asked questions on someone who was well known for any particular thing, it was 50-50 if they went out of the way to help me, right? But now 50-something thousand subscribers later, I almost seem like everyone kind of replies. And I think it's like going to the gym, right? When you go to the gym and you're like that fat guy in the room and there's this big guy, big muscles next to you lifting, and he just looks at you like, and then you kind of start looking like one of them. All of a sudden you're the cool guy in the room with them. That's like a little bit cliquey kind of. So I agree, definitely YouTubers are helpful, but I definitely think it could be cliquey.
I don't know. For me, I feel like everybody was helpful.
Sans Living says, gotta go. Have a good evening. Thank you for joining. Yep. Centero said some people use plastic brad nails to hold material to the sporeboards. I don't know how that would work with hard maple.
I've used brad nails before on my spoil board, but when you pull it out, it makes more of a damage that you have to sand so your next board will stay flat. So I didn't like that. I tried screws. I tried the brad nails. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I don't see a problem. One thing, you had those jigs set up. I saw one of your videos on the edges, but if you don't have any type of way to fasten it to it, and you were just like screwing down scraps, pieces of wood to kind of lock it in place, I get that, because there's track systems that get expensive and it's involved, and yeah. But like I said, these dog holes. I was so excited I wanted dog holes, and I'm like, I can cut PVC and it's gonna be cheap if I hit it, and I don't know why I was so. And then the whole entire thing, and like to me too, is like you want this big CNC, and it's like you're using just like this very, at least me, very small portion.
The biggest thing I've cut on it was 20 inches by 12 inches.
Right. What I'm saying, you got a 4-foot table, you're doing like, but and I get it, because like if you're gonna spend money, if you can afford to, like, go big or go home, so to speak, because when I need that space, great, phenomenal, right? Because then but
for me, I moved the shop furniture around and I built a stand. Well, I had it from other tools that I had, but I had a stand that was exactly 3 feet by 3 feet. And I knew that that's what I wanted to buy. I couldn't fit the 4-foot one. And I put it there and I lived with that stand in there. Even though I wasn't using it, I lived in it for a few months just to make sure that I can live with that in my shop. And I can still move around it and stuff. And then that's what I decided to go with.
So the only thing that I could say is my wife loves it when I get large piece of equipment like that. Because it forces me to get rid of something in the basement, She's like, you got too much stuff down here. I met a filament distributor who's in the Chicagoland area, about 15 minutes from my house. And he invited me into his basement. And I saw the hesitation when he first invited me into his basement. And I wasn't sure if he was hesitant because He's literally showing me all the products, or, hey, I'm a stranger in his house. Like, it's a home-based business, right? And when I go down to his basement, it was kind of a wreck, but I was kind of like relieved. And I kind of chuckled, and he gave me that look, and I says, I'm glad my basement only doesn't look like this. You know what I mean? Because my wife was like, don't bring anyone down there. And I'm like, hey, man, it's a wood shop,
Yeah, I wish you could see my finishing room right now. You can't even walk in there. Boxes and lasers and things, like every surface is like completely stacked with things. I can't do any work in there. Like, forget about finishing.
Hence why you see my background is different right now, and I'm not in my basement. So definitely. But at the end of the day, like, that's what it's for, right? So somebody comes in and they're looking at stuff, and there's wood all over the place, there's things being done, like, they know you're working, right? Like, and some of these YouTubers, they have this like $500,000 like studio.
Oh, those are studios. Those are not shops. It's no way possible it stays clean like that all the time.
Right.
I mean, I work in here. I'm 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's like, I can clean it and make it perfect. And 2 days later, it's a mess. Like, it's just, I work on many projects at the same time. So it's like all things.
Yes. So that is the big difference from a real wood shop in a studio, right? And hey, I wouldn't mind having a $500,000 studio. Don't get me wrong. Not wood shop envy to that guy or woman who's has that studio, but it's a working space for me that I happen to also record in. So yeah, big difference. So a question with now a lot of people asking faceting products to your CNC. What is your go-to way that you guys are actually fastening your wood to your CNC? Are you using these dog holes? Are you using brad nails? Are you screwing? Are you gluing? Are you using CA glue? I'm just questioning, like, what is your guys' go-to way of fastening wood to your CNC? I know everyone has a different method to their madness. So we'll see what everybody else has. But yeah, Skyler, definitely, I think you're right. Early on when video on CNC kind of, I wanted to come out with content for the Onefinity, and I was geared up to do so. And then I got the PWN CNC, and because it's a full sponsor, I kind of couldn't put out Onefinity content before them. It would, to me, it'd be a little disrespectful. Hey, we gave CNC tonight. So that kind of put things off. But then the PWN CNC kind of said that they don't want like the normal CNC tutorials. They kind of want it 101. Like, why did I buy this? How did I build this? What is the electrical? Like, really entry level to getting into CNC, and then maybe kind of advancing to the other things. Kind of what you're saying. So definitely going to dive into that. So I appreciate the people who the sarcasm, the constructive criticism to push me to go along the way.
Here's another one for you. Explain every part of the CNC that you bought and what they do. When I order my CNC, I was going to go with Shapeoko just because there is like a one-click thing. It's like, I want this package, and I'm getting everything, and I don't have to worry about anything. When I went to Onefinity, I was like, I don't know what any of these things are. Controller, HDMI, like, what do they do? What do I need? Like, I messaged you back then. I was like, I have no idea what I'm buying. I'm just putting things in my cart, and do I need this? Does it go with my thing? I got a dust boot that was not even working with my CNC. They contact me. I was like, you sure you want that? It doesn't work with your CNC. I'm like, how would I know that? I'm like, I don't know anything about this stuff. I'm like, make it easy for me. Why don't you say, with this CNC, you need this accessories, instead of just trying to figure out when you have no idea what a CNC even is or what do you need. So I had a really hard time placing the order just because I didn't know what any of the components are and do I need them. Like tool setter, the probe, I'm like, never heard of those things before. So I had no idea what I need.
I hear you, because I had bought some things the same, and they called me the same. I was like, and then even before, I didn't have a 3D printer at that time. When I first made that order, I bought some adapter to step it down so I can do the dust collection. And I ordered the wrong stuff, and I called them and I was like, I talked to you guys about this. So they just sent me the new one, like, here, so so that was kind of cool. But yeah, so that's cool. I think that would be good to kind of like, this is what I bought, this is why I bought it. You can go your own route, but this is what I did. And then
more importantly, like, what do you need? Like, do you need this or do you not need this thing? Because people just don't know. And
Right.
Derek, he just ordered his CNC and he didn't know what to get either because he's in the same boat as I was. So he messaged me. He's like, Skyler, what did you get? And what do I need? So I can order this.
The one thing I did not like though is the cable management at all.
Yeah, it's kind of out there.
So I went on Etsy and I bought some 3D printed stuff. And now my CNC looks phenomenal. It's all neat, tucked away, like everything's
Mine has cables everywhere.
Yeah. No, so mine looks perfect. But it's because I bought a cable management system and it wasn't expensive. But again, I don't know, like I was searching on YouTube, like this has gotta look better. Like this does not look good, and of course the manufacturer are not going to show someone else's third party unless they were like a partnership with them. So even then, when they're showing you, it doesn't look too impressive. It looks like it was, that's how they show it kind of deal, like I don't like this, but I and then I also went down. So one of my CNCs is water cooled and one of my CNCs is air cooled.
Yeah, mine is air cooled.
So I have one of each. So there's going to be able to do some side-by-side comparisons and see both the same size, both Maslow controllers. So to me, really the difference is going to be the board setup. Like how is that board set up, and is it really advantage? Like that T tracking is expensive. Do you need that? And then the difference between the water cooled and the air cooled.
Right. I bought the stand from them too, and I want to say I like the stand because it was so easy to install and square. That was my biggest fear because I watch a lot of videos buying the CNC and they had issues because it was not square when they install it. Mm-hmm. So then like the gantry kind of shutters and stops or whatever. But the stand makes it really easy to get everything square. So it's kind of self-squaring.
So I bought a Craig table. The only reason I bought a Craig table was because the rest of the tables in my wood shop were Craig, so it all kind of matched. Right. Had this thing going on. And then my table is bigger than it needs to be because as the cables go to the back, I drilled holes and the cables drop in and I screwed up. So like all that stuff, like if there's extra slack, it's zip tied up, it's hidden, so everywhere I could hide stuff like. And then the other thing is if for some reason I was to slide my CNC back because it's against the wall, that since I have that, extra 4 inches or whatever table space has nothing to do with the CNC, that there's no way I could smash or pinch my cables. Right. So I was just kind of thinking ahead. But yeah, and I made them both the same exact size table. But the Craig tables they're not cheap at all.
No, they're not.
So it was not a savings by any means. It was just literally like more aesthetically pleasing to me that the shop all matched, right? But it wasn't a cost savings factor that made me decide to go to Craig table at all. Matter of fact, it's kind of disappointing you get a Craig table because they're so expensive. You're like, there's not much to this. Like it really shouldn't cost this much.
A few rails.
Right. Like there's real no reason it should cost this much. It's kind of like when I bought my first Craig router table, and I was like, oh, why is this so expensive? You almost want to build it yourself. But,
yeah, my first router table was a Bosch. It was a piece of garbage. I could not make it work. It's like you're using like screws are falling off while you're doing it. So eventually I just tossed it in the garbage and went and bought a better one. But
yeah, so I have the Craig router table, the one with it can lift.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
I have the Rockler one.
Yeah. So same deal. Yeah, same kind of setup. But yeah, very expensive. Very expensive.
Yep, I think I paid like $1,000 for my router.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. About the same with I was looking at that one as well. There wasn't a cost savings. It was just which one did you want? So yeah. Lawrence says, have a blessed day the rest of the week, everyone. So yes, thank you. I appreciate joining the live. So Canada is not joining the United States. They do not want to become an additional state. So Steve is celebrating his Canadian Day. What are you going to do? But we are here to answer.
I liked his last video. He showed how to carve a wooden spoon.
He had said he was going to do that a while. So he finally put that out, and it was.
I just saw it like a year ago.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a backlash to his brother. Because his brother is a wood carver, like old school, literally. and his brother carves spoons. And Steve said to his brother, like, big deal, I can carve a spoon on the CNC in, 5 minutes or whatever. So that's what that kind of was like. I guess the rivalry between brothers,
Yeah, I've made some utensils before, made them on a bandsaw.
So I was laughing that I don't know if it's just I know there's a lot of Polish people and a lot of Mexican families, for whatever reason, I see the big giant spoon and forks in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if any other nationalities do that, but I'm Mexican. I know I have a lot of friends who are Polish. They also have this. So I said, maybe I'll make these big giant forks and spoons to put on the kitchen. I don't even know where that came from, but it's a thing, apparently. But yeah. So maybe I'll do that. I'll make Steve's spoon, but I'll make it, 3.5 feet long.
Right. Nice.
That'd be kind of cool. But you know what else? The other thing was I bought the what the hell is it called? It spins, so you can do like
the rotary tool, the 4 axis.
I bought it, and I was so like, I'm gonna be able to. My whole thing was that like I cut a lot of trees, so I was like, oh, I could take something and I could make something, and I've never even taken it out of the box.
Yeah, so, I didn't buy that one because I didn't think I would use it.
Right.
I thought about making it to like make chess pieces and maybe make chess boards, but I'm like, oh, I've never made a chess board, so I don't think.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, but then again, we always start saying it's like having one's like having none. So if you had 2 CNCs and that was set up on your CNC, and that's how it was used for, cool.
Right.
But then the other thing is, if that's what it's set up for, you don't need a 4x4. Get the smallest one that's going to fit on, because you're making something this big. Like, why do you need a 4x4?
I wish Onfinity would make a 2x2 CNC. I would buy another one. If they would make a 2x2 CNC, I would buy a second one.
Yeah.
I could use a small one. I cannot fit another big one in the shop, but a 2x2 would be perfect.
Yeah. And I'm glad I did. Did you do any soundproofing?
No.
So because it's in my basement, I had big concerns that I was going to get complaints. So that's why I removed all the insulation from my basement rafters and all that.
I don't have any neighbors around. I'm on a private road that is a 1/4 mile long, and I only have one neighbor on it. And I have many, many acres of woods behind my house, and you can't see any neighbors left and right. So,
well, I wasn't concerned about neighbors. I was very concerned who looks very much like you, my wife.
Yeah, well, my shop is away from the house. It's on the property, but it's not. My old shop was in the garage under the house, which was under my daughter's bedroom. And she was like, "Mom, it's so loud." But now that it's separate, nobody can hear it.
Yeah, so that's why I put the that pink insulation foam all along the walls, and I put them up in the ceiling, and I kind of covered them up. I used that pegboard, but the pegboard just so you just don't see pink.
The best thing I've done for my shop when I build it, because I built this shop, well, I didn't build it, I hired somebody to build it, was all my walls are 3/4 inch plywood. So anywhere on the walls, I can just put a screw and hang things.
Nice.
So all the walls in my shop and here and the finishing room, it's 3/4 inch plywood. Nice. So I don't have to worry about where the stud is, put like French cleats or anything. Just take a nail or a screw, put it on the wall, hang anything.
That's cool. That's cool. And then if it gets damaged, you don't have to worry about mudding, taping, redoing sheetrock, just putting a little piece up, screw it up. That's good advice. That's good advice. Yeah, definitely. I eventually would love a pole barn in my back property. It is on the eventually list. I have 3 garages, but Little Ricky and I are very much gearheads. So they're filled with motorcycles.
We have a barn, but upstairs is my photography studio and downstairs is a gym.
Nice. Well, every time I feel like going to the gym, I just lay there so that feeling goes away. My mom was a professional Zumba instructor. She's actually on DVD.
That's awesome.
My brother was Miss New Jersey's and like 4 or 5 different muscle magazines.
I used to be a gym rat when I was in my 20s. Like I was at the gym 5 days a week, 3 hours a day. And I actually own a gym. When I lived in Las Vegas, I own a gym.
Nice.
I did that for a few years. And then I got into bodybuilding workouts. I was like obsessed with workouts. I did cycling. I did racing on cycling, like road biking.
I was actually going to ask you that at one point because your email address, the racing, I was like,
oh no, that's from my husband. He used to do off-road racing, like the Baja racing,
okay,
and stuff, the trophy trucks.
Okay,
so that's where it comes from. But no, I did a lot of biking, like road biking.
Okay.
I ran half marathons. I was a gym rat, lifting weights.
Nice.
And then I got into photography, and I did that for 10 years. And halfway through, the gym just kind of didn't have time for me anymore.
Yeah. So I want to visit my brother. I got off the plane. One of the first things he said to me was, "What happened to you?" He said, if you stay here 6 months, you look like you used to look. I was so like, he kind of hurt me a little bit. And I know it's your brother, like you could say, but I felt like that was like a deep knife. I came home, I hired a dietitian, I hired a professional trainer. I went to the gym 7 days a week for 2 years. Went from benching like 108 pounds to 315. And I think I just did it to prove that I could still do it.
Right.
And then I had a stroke.
Oh.
And then I blew a vein out of my shoulder. I said I thought I had a wart. I went to the doctor. I said, I think I have a wart, probably from the mats at the gym. And she's like, "That's not a wart. That's your vein. You probably bruised your vein at work, and then you put up some heavy weight and you blew it out of your arm."
Right.
So from 6 months not going to gym from a stroke, and then 6 months I couldn't go because I had shoulder surgery on my shoulder. When I went back, my gains were so lost. I was so mad, just never went back. But I said, you know what? I'm almost 50 now. Screw it, I don't care. My wife is like getting super fit all of a sudden. Like she's starting like to drastically see the difference. And she says, "Why don't you start going to the gym?" I said, "I don't have the time." She says, "What do you mean?" I said, "Look," I'm not going to hurt myself. Like if you're going to put yourself through that much pain, you got to like stay dedicated. Those people who like go to the gym like two times a week, like pointless. I said, so I just don't have the time. Like, like my property is like another full-time job. I'm like, if you don't like the dad bod, I'm sorry, man. But yeah. I understand we're getting older, and fitness or taking care of yourself is definitely something you want to. We don't want to die at 65 years old, So I get it. But I think I see all these guys now. I say 65 is the new 35 because all these guys are on TRT, these testosterone injections. Like I can't go on Facebook without seeing 12 ads a day saying, hey, go to the doctor and get TRT. I was just in Disney and we're at the pool. These guys are 65, 70 years old and they're ripped, and all these guys are on testosterone. I'm like, but they're getting blood work once a week. They're getting the pancreas checked. Like you can get cancer, you can get high cholesterol, strokes. Like there's a lot of things to do when you start injecting.
Always side effects.
Yeah. So I'm just going to stay fluffy. 4 Eyes said 2x6 walls. I don't know about a 2x6 walls. That could get expensive.
For sure.
Get expensive.
I thought my plywood was expensive.
Yeah, I definitely like the plywood idea. That's very cool. Good day from down under. Hey, Chris, thank you for joining. I think I may actually do that in one of my garages. Yeah. I'm about to, now that I'm getting caught up, I had a huge tree branch come down in one of my garages and put a hole in my garage. So I'm going to rip off the whole roof. And I think when I do that, maybe I'll put plywood on the walls.
Yeah, plywood is great. I do not have plywood on the roof, on the ceiling. It's, drywall. And I hate that because I don't know how to attach anything there. And I have some cables I need to put. I'm like, I don't know where the studs is. So. Right.
Yeah, so I think I may do that. Good advice. I may check that out. I may do that in my garage if I rip the roof off. But yeah, definitely a pole barn. Hey, I see all these advertising Facebook all the time, these steel pole barns. Hey, you want to do a sponsor one of those of my properties? Let me know. We'll do something like that for sure. So definitely some good input too on the CNC drops. No excuses, but I did have a loss within my family, and it kind of threw me off my game, so to speak. But I'm back, and this podcast really kind of kept me motivated, moving, kind of keep me out of my shell, because as I started creating content, I'm sure you may have done this at some point, time recording, you just start doing it and you're like,
get burned out, doubt yourself, get that. I went through a period where I had a lot of, you would call it like imposter syndrome, where you feel like I'm just going there pretending I know things, but I really don't know anything. Should I really be doing this? Should probably not do this. And,
Yeah. So I just felt like I wasn't in it. And I felt like I wasn't being like, myself. Like I was, like you said, I was kind of fronting. I was kind of like, I wasn't committed, like normally, like you hear it in my voice, you see in the excitement what I'm doing. And when I'm kind of I don't ever want to sound like an infomercial. And I was sounding like a scripted infomercial, and I was scripting myself because I just wasn't committed. And I'm back. I'm committed.
Your heart was not in it.
Yes. So you will start seeing a lot of new content. I'm caught up with my own honey-do list, and I have a slew of boxes I need to open on camera. So there's not a lack of reviews that I need to do, that's for sure, at least at this point, because I am somewhat behind. But of course, if anyone has any suggestions on CNC videos, constructive criticisms always accepted. Let me know. 4 Eyes said the saving in heat and AC will pay for the offset for 2x4 versus 2x6. I don't know. Because if you're doing a 2x6, you need a whole different insulation. So, and wood's expensive right now, very expensive. So, 2x6 construction could, I don't know if I'd buy into that one, to be honest with you. I think I would just stay standard 2x4s. But yeah, how big is that shop you're in right now behind you?
I think it's room. 12. The shop, it's
just a room, just your primary room that you're in right now.
I think it's 1,200 square feet.
Well, it's a decent size.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bigger than some.
There's another little room that way where is my finishing room and my lasers.
Yeah, that's the size of some people's houses. If you think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, when I first moved in here from the little shop, I didn't have a lot of tools. It felt so big. I was like, this is awesome. This is the best. And then, 6 months later, I'm like, I can't fit anything in here. Like, why didn't we make it like 20 more feet that way?
I don't even know how to say this name on Facebook. Rangalatoti from Wisconsin. Thank you for checking in.
Well, hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm in the Chicago area, so you're not too far from me. Thank you for checking in. Let us know if you have any questions. But yeah, if you made it this far in the live, or almost at the end of the live, I would highly, highly suggest that you join our Facebook group.
It's a great Facebook group.
It's a great Facebook group. And I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible. This is not my Facebook group. This is not Skyler's Facebook group. Steve's, Rogers, the Bearded Vikings, none of our Facebook groups. The reason that I'm saying it that way is because if you post social media content, YouTube content, if you post stuff that you're selling, any of that, all the above, you're not offending anyone in any shape or form. We encourage it. And we also encourage you to
post more on there. I feel like I'm the only one posting things.
Yeah. But I also encourage you to post fails, right? Because it's encouraging to people, like as a YouTuber, like every time we do everything, it's so well polished. The easy button came out. It was perfect. So if you have any fails, share your fails as well, because, maybe it encourages someone to say, okay, I'm not the only one struggling with this, So join it. Oh, and ShopTalkLive.club. It's not a website. It's just an auto forward to our Facebook group, so you don't have this big long URL. That's all. Yeah. Yeah, so it's growing. I think we're at 616 members.
Nice.
On the Shop Talk Live, but I think your Facebook group has like 3,000 or more, right? It's pretty big.
78,000.
There you go. I was way off. I said
76, maybe 76, 77,000. I don't know. Has more than my YouTube channel.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, when I started, I thought, I was just going to be like a few people, like I can talk to them and people that follow me on YouTube. And then it grew so much that I just couldn't keep up with it. I have to have a few moderators now and other administrators and
That's
a lot of people.
That's cool. Very cool. Yes, we got 5 minutes left in the live. If anyone has any questions, let us know. Let us know. I know some people have been asking lately about Roger. Send me emails, messages, Facebook, things like that, or even comment in the lives. Roger is doing well. He's dealing with some the loss of his wife. So I would just ask someone to kind of respect his privacy. If maybe you're sending a message and he's not responding, that's kind of why he's maybe taking a backseat to life, enjoying life a little bit more. He's been doing some volunteer work and some cooking.
That's awesome. Keep busy.
So, yeah, and he bought a trike, so he's spending some time on Harley. I always say a Harley to me is the only time that I truly unplug, because you can't call me. I'm just on the bike. I'm just enjoying it. So I think that's what he's doing, just kind of venting, like, his me time, so to speak. But woodworking does that to me as well, though. I definitely feel like wood therapy is something that really helps me as well.
Oh, yeah. When I come in the shop here in the morning, like time flies. The next thing you know, it's 1 p.m. I'm like, what have I been doing? Like,
exactly. Yeah, it definitely puts me in a better mood, especially when I'm making something for someone else. When I'm making something that's purposeful, meaning like I'm not just making this and I hope that it sells. I'm actually making it for like it's a pre-order or a custom order. To me, that gets me kind of like hyped into making something, because
see, for me, I'm the other way. I love when I make things on my own time for nobody. I just wanted to create and maybe come up with something new or just try something. And I love that. I love that freedom to explore or try new things. When I have a custom order, I get stressed out because I'm like, it needs to be like this. This is what the customer ordered. This is what it needs to be. What if I fail or I do something and something gets, chipped and I have to redo it, or I don't know. That's most stressful for me. I like it when I just do things in my own time. That's why I haven't been doing a lot of custom orders. It's like, I just do what I want to do. And if you like it, you can buy it. If you don't like it, don't buy it, kind of thing.
Yeah. That's cool. No, I love, matter of fact, the one of the crosses that I bought, we have like in my house a shelf that's like pushed into the wall, and it has a picture of my mother-in-law. That's a memorial for my mother-in-law. It's lit at all times, and above that, I'll have to send a picture and post it, is your cross. And every time somebody sees it, the first thing is they're like, "Wow, you made this?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, a friend of mine made it. Like, "Oh, okay." But yeah,
I want to make a whole bunch more crosses, the epoxy crosses with the wood. I have all those live edge in there. I need to get them out of the shelves because I have no room for my dimensional lumber. So I need to start pouring some for Christmas.
There you guys heard it. So if you want some custom made crosses, you got to talk to Skyler, because they're phenomenal. I have bought 2, and I think I'm going to get 1 more. You know what I was going to ask you? How well do you think could that hold up outside, or there's no way it'd fall apart?
I don't think it will fall apart. What will happen with epoxy is if it's in the sun, from the heat, it will get softer. And I can tell you that because I have a lot of charcuterie boards and things that I used to take with me to craft fairs. And I would go and sit on the side of the road with my table, and it would be like 90 degrees and humid. And the epoxy gets softer on the heat. And then you can get fingerprints on it, or, like where it meets the wood, the epoxy will kind of settle a little bit down, and the wood now is sticking out like a 0.5 millimeter. So a lot of those things I had to resurface and redo and never bring them with me outside to craft fairs. So I don't know.
So definitely probably not recommended. I was curious.
I mean, you can cover it with like an outdoor poly, like a marine varnish, and that will make it protected from the outdoors environment, maybe. But as it is, I just don't think it would help really good.
Probably just not a good idea then at all. I mean, at the end of the day, like that UV it'd prolong it, but the side effects would eventually happen, right?
Right.
So very cool. I was thinking maybe I could have something at my uncle's gravesite, but I wasn't sure how well it would hold up to the weather. Figured I'd ask.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. All right, looks like we've got 1 minute left. If anyone wants to sneak a question in there, let us know. Let us know. If not, thank you guys for joining the live. Today was good. Went by fast.
Yeah, I want to thank you for inviting me to come back.
Absolutely, as always. You're always welcome. I know you got a busy schedule, so
yeah, I don't. That's the thing. I don't have time to do it every week, but once in a while, it's perfect. It's just
yeah,
it's perfect
no,
for me.
I love it. I love it, and I like that I actually was able to join the live with you because normally you're in place
Yep.
of me, so it was good to see it. And I just wanted to say, you're inspiring me for sure. Some of your CNC's work you've done, and I'm very proud to see that the things you've done, and they're just amazing.
Well,
But I didn't expect anything less. That's for sure.
well, it's a learning curve. I'm still learning. Still learning.
Okay. Well, it looks like we're at time. It's 8:30. You want to close this out?
Well, thank you everyone for coming and joining us and hanging out with us. And hope to see you next time.
See you next week.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Rick.
All right. Thank you, Skyler. Good night.